Hi, babe.
How was your day?
It's good. How about yours?
It was fantastic.
Good.
You ready to get into these questions?
I'm ready.
All right. I picked this one because it was so interesting. And this one comes to us from Ren, who is 33 from Richmond, Virginia. And she writes, "Hey, Mari and MJ, I recently began dating someone 4 months ago. We are now exclusive and getting closer. I'm really into her. We get along great and have no issues except that she has a child." That's a big except. Mm-hmm. I have no, except she has a child, a 7-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. I have no kids and never wanted any, nor did I want to date a woman with kids. But I broke my rule when I met this woman. See, that's your first mistake there. Mm-hmm. I have never met her child, and now, and although she tries to make me connect with her over the phone, and now all of a sudden she wants me to meet her daughter. I have no interest in meeting her, don't want a relationship with her, and don't want to be a stepmom to anyone's child. She knows that I'm not a child type of person. How can I stay in this relationship without having interaction with her daughter? Girl.
I don't know.
Ren.
I don't know if that's
friend.
possible.
I don't know how you think you're going to remain in a relationship with someone who has a child.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing. That's a big thing there. Yeah.
So what's your policy on dating women with children?
So that's the thing. So I can see it both ways, right? So of course I'm a mother, so I've dated people. Of course, my daughter was younger, but just now it is my rule that, of course, if I wasn't with the beautiful MJ here, that I don't date women that have minor children. It's just a rule of mine that I just stick with. It just works better with my lifestyle. It's just not something, at this point in my life that I'm willing to do.
So you wouldn't have dated me if I had a child?
Yeah, probably not.
Oh, no. So you wouldn't date yourself?
Of course I know me, so I date myself. No, but if it's somebody that has a young child, it's just not something. If you have adult children, I don't even know if teenagers, if that would be okay.
Maybe not.
Still, it's,
maybe not for our age group. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I can play devil's advocate here, and I would say as a childless woman, well, I don't want to say childless because I do have a dog baby, but I would say as a woman without children, I would, I think sometimes we do feel like maybe we jump into these things and feel like you can maybe handle it. And, I'll bend the rules here and there. And then maybe they realize, I really didn't want to date somebody with children. I've always had a policy where I didn't mind dating people with children, but when I dated men who had children or dating women who have children, it's not a deal breaker for me. I probably prefer that somebody doesn't have children. I would say my reasons in the past have changed. Before, it was because I was a little selfish and I wanted all the attention on me. And so that's why I didn't. Now I feel like I don't like a child kind of like in my business, because I do find that sometimes parents tend to involve their children a lot, like telling them about arguments we have or telling them just a little bit too much information, and that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. So, so long as the parent has a relationship with the child where both of them understand boundaries, then I don't mind it as much, but, I guess, of course, because of my lifestyle, I'd probably prefer that somebody didn't have children.
It makes a lot of sense. So you have to go into this with the right intentions, and it just doesn't seem like your intentions are there, right? That you want to help raise this child.
Yeah, it's interesting because they've been together for 4 months, and they're exclusive and they're getting closer.
And when I think about some of the differences, from when I was raising my child to now, is my lifestyle, right? So we kind of live this non-traditional lifestyle. We like to go away for the weekend. We like to eat what we want to eat. We want to do the things that we want to do. And I just feel like a child at this point would not fit into my lifestyle. Whether it was my child or, somebody else's. It's just raising a child just isn't something at this point in my life that I want to do.
Yeah, I think people have to be realistic about that. You know, you do. This is not something to just go into a relationship lightly, and it's important to have a conversation just about children in general, about wanting to have children. If you're getting into a lesbian relationship and somebody is really interested in having children and that's in their life plans, and maybe you don't want to. So I think that this is a huge thing. We're talking about other lives here. You know, we're not talking about adopting dogs or cats. This is something that is huge. And I even know that I don't have children, a mother and a daughter are a package deal. You can't just ask how can you have this relationship and not have any interaction with her child. It's just not going to happen. I think that this is, you got to be pretty honest with yourself, and it's time to have a conversation with her if you haven't already, and let her know how you really, really, truly feel, because there's going to be a lot of resentment on her part, the child's part, because the child is going to be able to pick up on how you feel about her if you're really not into children like that. And, it's going to lead to some pretty bad, some hard feelings between you two. So, yeah.
Because I'm just thinking as a mother, if I knew that my partner felt this way about my child, I don't know if I would really be able to move forward with them, right? So this is a big part of, any parent, their child. And if someone's not accepting of that, then, it just shows that you two aren't really aligned or compatible at that, right?
Yeah, this is a big compatibility issue. I think this is the biggest one. This is not something that you can sweep under the rug or something that you can bypass or put it off. I mean, she's got a whole child, and a young child at that, at this really impressionable age. And, you don't want to traumatize this child by, having an attitude or something around her. Not saying that you've ever given that, but if you really are not into the whole child thing and having that type of a family, then they're going to feel it. She's going to feel it. Her child's going to feel it, and it's not going to be a good thing. So I think, in my opinion, the way I would proceed is, if this is your hard line, if this is something that is something that you're not into entertaining, then go ahead and break it off now, because it's not going to end well. Because it's just a big responsibility to parent a child, like whether it's your own child, it's your nieces, your nephew, right? So you have to really check your intentions, right, to make sure that this is something that you want to do for the long term. Because again, it's not like it's an animal. This is going to be for the child the rest of their life, hopefully, right, if you stay with the parent. So it's a lot to think about, and not a decision just to be made lightly. There's the whole child thing is just so complicated, and I'm so glad I don't have to make those decisions. But I think even in a relationship where one person has a child, one doesn't, the child has a bonus parent. How does that all work when people break up and the child is now attached to the other person? How does that work? Has that ever happened in any of your relationships? Of course. I mean, my daughter has had relationships with my partners in the past, but I just think it's better just once the relationship ends for the relationship to end with the child, right? Because you don't want it to be where in your next relationship that this is becoming a problem. So someone is kind of not the biological parent, but kind of stepping in and making decisions and just having all this extra say in it. So it's just probably, just my opinion. Of course, you guys do things the way that you want to, but it's usually just better if you're going to end it, then it should be ended with the child too. That relationship should be terminated. It can get kind of messy. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? What advice would you have for our friend Ren here? What should she do? But and if Ren's girl is watching, please tell us what you think and submit the questions too, because we like to talk about that. How do you feel about this? What is going through your mind that your partner is feeling this way about your child, right? This is a tough one. This is definitely a tough one, and I wish you all the luck to navigate this with grace and with class and positivity, because you guys are in it now. You guys are so intertwined at 4 months, and you know that's like 4 years in lesbian dating. So yeah, I don't know how you're gonna handle this, and that's not something that you should compromise on. If you really are not into children, then you need to kind of stick to your guns on that.
Yeah, it's okay to have preferences. It doesn't make you a bad person that you don't like children, but you just not being really truthful and not being honest with yourself. I think that's the biggest part. Like not even about that, but what do you really want and why are you compromising so early on in a relationship? You know, if this is something you know for a fact, it's just not something you want to do. So
yeah, don't compromise on your values because somebody thinks that you should or you think that you need to. It's not fair to you, her, or the child.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's all we got for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yes.
All right. Until the next one.